Welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to teach you 3 different ways to reprogram your subconscious mind to create the life that you want. Let's dive in. I'm going to be giving you 3 ways to reprogram your mind. Listen, you're here because you know if you want your life to be different, you have to change, right? If you want your life to change, you have to change. But then it starts getting really hard. It's not really easy to change. The key to achieving success in any area of your life comes from your ability to change yourself. And a lot of times changing yourself comes from changing your mind first, reprogramming your mind to change your old patterns, to change your old beliefs, your old programs, and your thoughts, your habits, and your beliefs are your driving forces behind your actions. And that will then determine your outcome. So if you can understand the psychology and the science that's behind mental reprogramming, then you can start to take charge of your life and create the future that doesn't look like your past. Because if you do nothing and you just continue to do the same things that you have been doing, nothing will change. Your tomorrow will look exactly like yesterday until the day you die. And so in this episode, we're going to really talk about how to reprogram your mind to kind of get anything that you want. And I'm not going to just tell you from like some foo-foo-y, woo-woo-y type of way, hey, you can get anything you want. Like I'm actually going to teach you proven psychological techniques and use scientific evidence because I'm a very skeptical person. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably are the type of person that's like that as well. And so that's probably why you're attracted to this podcast, because you're probably very skeptical, but also wanting to improve yourself. And so we're probably both skeptics. And so I'm going to show you through science and through psychology how to actually start reprogramming your brain. So the first thing that I want to talk about before I teach you how to do it is you have to really understand what it is that we're trying to change. You have to understand your mind. Before we dive into the process of reprogramming, you got to understand how the mind works, right? And so the mind consists basically of 2 parts when you break it down. There's the conscious mind and there's the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is responsible for just day-to-day thoughts, decisions, actions in the moment. And the subconscious mind really stores a lot of memories. It stores beliefs, it stores habits, and it kind of works very automatically. And it's, below the mind, which is why they call it the subconscious mind. So let's dive into the conscious mind first. The conscious mind is our thinking mind. It is the mind that you know that exists, that thinks throughout the day. It's the voice that you hear inside of your head. Oh man, I should go get the kids before I, go ahead and do this. Oh yeah, well that's your conscious mind. That's your thinking mind. It's where we process information. It's where we make decisions, where we talk to ourselves. But the crazy part about the conscious mind is that it accounts for roughly about 5% of our cognitive activities throughout the day. And so it's very limited. And it's just basically like, okay, tell me what to do and I'll do it. Okay, tell me what to do and I'll do it. And so you might ask yourself, like, how is it only responsible for 5%? I know all of the thoughts that I'm thinking throughout the day. Well, no, you don't. You know all of the conscious thoughts. And so this process helps you recognize the impact of your thoughts and the patterns that you have on your emotions, on your behaviors, on the world around you, and really starts to equip you with the tools that are necessary to challenge and change those patterns. I've said this many times in the podcast, but when you notice a thought come into your head, get really good at challenging that thought. Like test the validity of that thought. And just start to challenge yourself. Try to see the other side. Try to play devil's advocate for the other side of where you're normally thinking. And so when you start to do cognitive restructuring, here's something I've noticed about myself that I don't want anymore. I'm going to identify them and I'm going to replace them in the moment when I notice them pop up with the thoughts that I want. I'm going to do it over and over and over again. And there are tons and tons and tons of studies that have shown the effectiveness of cognitive restructuring in treating variety of psychological disorders. So like depression, anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder. And so when you actually start to get really good at practicing cognitive restructuring, you can reprogram your mind to think whatever it is you kind of want, more positively, less judgmental, more loving, more grateful, which in turn is going to give you a greater sense of confidence and makes you more likely to take action. So you have to brainwash yourself in visualizing what is it you want and also speaking exactly what it is that you want. So you could brainwash yourself into believing whatever it is that you want. So you could brainwash yourself into believing whatever it is that you want. So you could brainwash yourself into believing whatever it is that you want. So you could brainwash yourself into believing whatever it is that you want. So you could brainwash yourself into believing whatever it is that you want. So you could brainwash yourself into believing whatever it is that you want. So you could brainwash yourself into believing whatever it is that you want. So you could brainwash yourself into believing whatever it is that you want. So you could brainwash yourself into believing whatever it is that you want. So you could brainwash yourself into believing whatever it is that you want. So you could brainwash yourself into believing whatever it is that you want. So you could brainwash yourself into believing whatever it is that you want. So you could brainwash yourself into believing whatever it is that you want. So you could brainwash yourself into believing whatever it is that you want I mean, we've basically all been brainwashed to believe what we currently believe. Why don't we now take control of our own brainwashing? And why don't you just brainwash yourself into believing what you want to believe, into doing what you want to do? So essentially, cognitive restructuring, visualizing, and affirmations are you brainwashing yourself. You've been brainwashed by everything that's ever happened to you. Now, this is your opportunity for you to take control and actually start to brainwash yourself so that you can reprogram your brain the way that you want to be. So that's all I got for you for today's episode. If you love this episode, please do me a huge favor. Share it on your Instagram stories. Tag me in it, Rob Dial Jr., ROBDIALJR. The only way this podcast grows is from you guys sharing it. And so I'd greatly appreciate if you would go ahead and share it. And with that, I'm going to leave you the same way I leave you every single episode. Make it your mission to make someone else's day better. I appreciate you, and I hope that you have an amazing day.